Hi, so today is Tuesday, April 15th, and we just wrapped up a nearly 7-hour long Board of Supervisors meeting. So I wanted to give you a brief recap, sort of brief, of some of the key actions and discussions that happened today. So first of all, the big item that packed the room was the appointment of the District 5 supervisor, filling the vacancy of from Supervisor Arlita Grijalva, from her stepping down to now run for her dad's congressional seat. So first I want to thank all of the applicants who stepped up and put their name in the hat to fill that seat and represent all the District 5 constituents. It was a real pleasure to sit down with many of the applicants and to listen and learn more through the League of Women Voters sponsored forum. In the end, we voted to appoint Andres Cano to represent District 5. I was proud to make that motion for him to get supported. Andres was the strongest candidate. He has a long career of public service. He in fact started out at the age of 14 in the Pima County's Youth Summer Employment Program, and went on to work for the District 5 Supervisor Richard Elias for about 7 years. Worked at the was a representative of the Arizona House of Representatives for 2 terms. Received his master's in public administration from Harvard Kennedy School, and then most recently was the director of federal and state relations for the city of Tucson. So he brings tremendous experience and can hit the ground running, which is exactly what we need right now, given all the things happening within the county and the federal level, just within government overall. So he took the oath. It was sworn in, and then just jumped right in and got to work. So after the other thing that happened with Supervisor Grijalva stepping down is that there were a number of vacancies in some of the roles that supervisors assume as in addition to being on the board itself. So I am honored to have been voted in as the new vice chair of the Board of Supervisors. We also appointed Supervisor Matt Hines to represent us at the Pima Association of Governments and the RTA, the Regional Transportation Authority, both of those boards. The latter, the RTA board, has really struggled to get a meaningful regional transportation plan together that has the support and confidence of the region. And so I am confident that Supervisor Hines will really tackle head-on some of the obstacles to getting that plan together and moving forward. I also shared a report on one of my other roles of serving on the Board of Health, and a report on my role sitting on the Arizona Border Counties Coalition. The Board of Health report, I shared some of the discussions and priorities that we discussed at the Board of Health meeting, including recommending the legal age for purchasing tobacco and vape products be increased from 18 to 21. The Board of Health sent a letter to the state legislature, to some of the legislative leaders, supporting a bill that does exactly that. The health department is also monitoring the resurgence of measles and keeping a close tab on what the contagion rates are, and then also identifying how to tackle that here in Pima County. We've also discussed a lot some of the misinformation concerning vaccines and the difficulty of keeping our communities safe in light of a lot of the misinformation that is being disseminated about vaccines from people holding powerful positions in the federal level. And then finally, the Board of Health has also looked at a report about the health costs of gun violence here in Pima County, and showing how the scourge of gun-related deaths and injuries has sort of a domino effects both on public health and economically throughout our community. We also heard staff reports, as we do at every every Board of Supervisors meeting on the federal and state actions that affect Pima County. The federal government is contemplating and moving forward a budget that proposes $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid. So it's important to understand how that will affect us, or could affect us here in Pima County, where nearly 30% of Pima County residents rely on Medicaid. And of those, 37% are children. So we are deeply concerned about the actions that the federal government is taking, and in the name of efficiency is just swinging around a demolition ball to a lot of the programs and funding that keep us safe and healthy and strong as individuals and as a community. We discussed the Pima County budget. We will get our first full draft of the budget on April 25th. It'll be sent out to the supervisors. We have been discussing, as we did today at the board meeting, some of our individual priorities, things that we want to make sure are included in the budget. My budget priorities reflect some of the departments and areas, programs that are getting hit the hardest from some of the cuts from the federal government. So, which are also the services and the needs that our community has. So, for example, some of my budget priorities include ensuring that we have strong public health programs that can operate throughout Pima County, out in the rural areas, and strong partnership with the indigenous nations. And that can ensure that we are again strong and healthy as a community. Housing, affordable housing, keeping people in their homes, and eviction prevention are incredibly important, especially given a lot of the changes that are happening from the federal level. Workforce development, a critical piece of Pima County's programs, especially as unemployment rates are starting to rise again. Our Transition Center and the INVEST program, both of these are critical programs, highly acclaimed programs that help people, that help reduce the recidivism rate of people getting out of jail, and build the kind of the well-being and stability of folks so that they don't go back into jail. I also want to make sure that we have a robust Pima Department of Environmental Quality. As we have seen a number of executive orders that are working to expand the opening of federal lands to mining and other resource extractive industries, I want to make sure that at Pima County that we are able to protect our air quality and enforce any pollution violations. The last two pieces of budget priorities are around conservation lands, resources, making sure that we're protecting the Sonoran Desert and the Sonoran Desert Conservation Plan, and that we are investing in weatherization and home repair. And that's because as climate change and our intense heat continues to rise, people's utility bills are rising. And so our homes, particularly our mobile home parks, which comprise a large portion of District 3, people's bills are rising. So we need to ensure that our homes are as energy efficient as possible, and we are wasting less energy and keeping people's bills down low. We got a report on the Pima Climate Action Now plan. I won't go into big detail. The county has been pushing out a lot of community meetings where people can come and give some input and help shape the plan. It has three areas of focus. One is decreasing our carbon emissions, climate adaptation, and also climate resilience. I look forward to digging more into the plan and ensuring that county operations, as well as our work with partners across the region, is doing everything we can to fight climate change. We approved a proposal, regional plan that was brought to us from the health department to use $8 million from the opioid settlement funds towards substance use prevention and intervention. We just saw recently that the month of January of this year, we had We had one of the highest overdose death rates that we have had in Pima County in many years. So I think the use of our settlement funds in a way that is going to be effective and reach across our county to really tackle the epidemic of substance abuse disorder, and it's incredibly important. And I was happy to learn more about the plan and have some conversations with our health department who's leading that. We also accepted the resignation today of Justice of the Peace Alexander Ball, and launched approved a process to fill that seat. And to fill that vacancy. So we have on the webpage at pima.gov is the appointment process. So if you or others you know live in Justice of the Peace District Precinct 6, please take a look at pima.gov and please apply. We also had a resolution on the table today about the proposed change in water rates from Tucson Water and the city of Tucson. These are referred to as differential water rates. That resolution was pushed to our next meeting. One of the reasons is that instead of sort of digging into just a discussion of the differential rates, we would like to have a larger discussion, kind of a meta-level discussion about water, wastewater, and thinking about it in a regional way. For District 3, we are not, it's not just a dynamic of Tucson Water being our water service provider. We have a quilt of different water service providers, over half a dozen different water service providers in our area. So I would like to have a better understanding of what the rate structures look like across our region and our area, and also just to think at a macro level about how we can ensure service, water conservation, and protect our low-income residents. We also we approved a plan that directed our county administration to really think about how we can strengthen our partnerships with Mexico around trade and workforce development. We also had a proposal on the table that would to increase our property tax rate by 3 cents. Over the course for 10 years. This would generate $207 million for the construction and preservation of affordable housing. We recently received a report that did a kind of regional analysis of our housing needs and our affordable housing needs. So this is an effort to tackle the incredible gap that we have to be able to provide for affordable housing for those who make, and I think we're kind of aiming around those who make about 60% of the median income in Pima County. That discussion was also pushed to our next meeting. I requested that while I support increasing the property tax by 3 cents for affordable housing, I also want to understand that increase in property tax in the context of our budget overall, and particularly around what our property tax rates are going to look like and could look like, should look like in the coming budget, and how they compare with other counties, and just a little bit more about how our property tax is structured. That was our kind of final significant item on the agenda. We adjourned. Our next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, May 6th at 9 a.m. So please come on down to our meeting if you're available. Thank you so much.